Hey, welcome back to ChatterBeans. I'm Isaac Kong, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to someone who I've had the most lovely conversation with, Mimi Thompson. Mimi grew up in Thailand and now lives in London, and honestly, the way she talks about culture, creativity, and what it's like adjusting to a whole new city is just so honest and relatable. We get into loads of things: writing, feminism, women's health, and some real chat about friendships, relationships, and trying to find the joy in the everyday. She's warm, wise, and low-key hilarious. You'll hear us touch on everything from Taylor Swift and patriarchy, and yes, those two things do belong in the same sentence. It's one of those episodes that just flows. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's get into it. Mimi, welcome to ChatterBeans.
Oh my gosh, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. I'm so happy that we could get you here.
I know, I'm really excited.
Yeah. So, like I did with Talia, set the scene. We met each other recently on a course.
We did the City Lit course.
City Lit
Radio
in
and podcast for was it for beginners?
I think for beginners, yeah. Yeah.
So you're not a beginner.
No, I am in some ways. But you brought a lot of energy to that room. Your corner with Talia and Willa. So I'm really pleased that we could get you here. And I think your story and your background is super interesting. So wherever you want to start, tell us a bit about you.
Okay, well, my name is Mimi. I grew up in Thailand. My dad is Thai and my mom is British. And I grew up in Bangkok. That's where I call home. And when I graduated from school there, I went to an international school. I went to California for college, and I always wanted to go to America because I had seen The Simpsons.
Really?
And I was like influenced by them, and also BuzzFeed, if anyone was doing BuzzFeed quizzes back in the day.
Question, did you watch The Simpsons in Thai or in
No, in
English?
In English we would get pirated discs
Amazing.
from MBK in Thailand, which if you're in Bangkok and you want any pirated discs, you can go there.
Thanks.
And my dad would kind of get them for our Christmas and birthday presents. He'd ask what like TV shows and movies we'd want, which was fun. And so anyway, went to America for college and I studied English literature and psychology. I love English so much.
Yeah.
I've always had dreams of being a writer, so we'll see if that happens. It will.
Your writing is insane, and we're going to come on to that little story, I think, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, if you can share it.
We'll do.
Very soon.
But yeah, I was in California for 7 years. I graduated college. I started work. I was living in LA. And then I didn't get my US visa, so I was kicked out of the country. And now I'm in London, and I've been here for, I guess, half a year now.
Half a year. So you've got real contrasting places, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super interested of like what the differences are, things that you might miss about home. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, Thailand is your home, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you miss it?
Yeah, I miss Thailand. There are some parts of like the Western world what I grew up the UK and America together with, which I like really love.
Yeah.
So I love going to comedy shows and concerts, and there's lots of activities which aren't really present in Thailand right now. Okay. Like Taylor Swift didn't even go to Bangkok.
Really?
Like she just went to Singapore. And a lot of like, if these big artists aren't even going to come to Bangkok, then the smaller artists I like won't as well. And
Yeah.
so, everyone get round to Bangkok.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do miss Thailand, especially just like the culture of Southeast Asia and also my family.
Yeah,
Shout
of course.
out.
So your family's still there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, my older sister lives here, and then my younger siblings are in California, but like everyone's in Thailand. That's what I say.
I love that. Growing up in Thailand, what did life look like for you? Like, what were you like?
This is interesting because Thailand is super chill.
Really?
Like very sabai. That means like relax, chill.
Okay.
But my family calls me, or my nickname used to be Mimi No Chill Thompson, because I guess like in comparison to everyone else, I was so no chill. And now that I'm here in more of a, I would say like non-chill, not Southeast Asia environment, like I'm the chill one compared to everyone else.
How funny. Yeah.
Because I tend to not want to make like super far in advance plans, and the culture of London is very booked and busy.
Yes.
That's what I've noticed.
Yes.
And I'm more of like, oh, we'll just see on the day.
See how I feel.
Yeah, we'll decide, because what if something comes up and you're not able to do it because you've already booked things? And I'm not against booking some things, but you can't be booked in busy 3 months in advance.
I was having this conversation with my PT. He's from Romania and he's struggling with the same thing.
Oh my God, maybe I can hang out with him.
Maybe you can, because he can't just be like, he was like, I can't just be spontaneous. Like everyone's always like, no, I'll book you in for 2 months. It's like,
Yes.
that's crazy. So is that a struggle, like bringing that kind of chilled vibe to London?
I think so. Maybe it's more influenced by, like, social wise, by my time in LA,
Right.
where people do decide more often, like, what to do on the day.
Do
And
they?
you can always get last minute reservations, / you can just show up to some concerts, like obviously not massive ones. But here, and I've done some research on this.
Have you?
I've asked many people around London their thoughts, and I think so. London used to be spontaneous,
Yes.
apparently, but during COVID, restaurants and venues required booking. And then I guess everyone liked that booking model so much that they never reverted back and forgot the days of being chill and spontaneous.
Yeah.
And so we need to remind London. So if you're listening to this and you live in London, why don't you try for 1 week to have no plans and
I
just
love
see what
that.
happens?
I love it. Absolutely. You're right. It did used to be far less like strict and rigid and things like that. And yeah, bookings came in because of COVID on a lot of places.
So I guess COVID's to blame for a lot of things.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Taking a step back to Thailand, just growing up, school days, things like
Yeah.
that. What were you like super creative?
Oh,
Because I get the sense that you're quite creative and you talk about your writing and stuff like that.
thanks. Maybe I would describe myself more as like imaginative,
Imaginative.
but creative like fits as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up really liking writing and like English. I was always reading.
Okay.
The first books that I love to read, dystopian future books.
Wow.
Like Cassandra Clare, if anyone's a fan, or Divergent, that series. And so I was always reading a lot and wanting to write. So I was really creative, I'd say, especially at school, involved in lots of different activities. And I guess just being in Thailand or in Bangkok, there are lots of opportunities to get involved and be creative. Like my sister did a sewing course while she was in Thailand. My other sister does a lot of artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do anything in Bangkok.
Can you?
Yeah, I
Like-
guess.
Yeah,
You really can.
Yes, I have been there once. Like culture in Bangkok, like and Thailand in general. Like, is there a lot going on? And like, did you? Because obviously you would have had media and you went to an international school.
Yeah.
But did that fit with who you were? I suppose I suppose that's all you knew at the time, growing up for 18 years.
Yeah. I mean, I had a very specific experience, like growing up in Bangkok, going to an international school,
Yeah.
which wasn't like traditionally like fully Thai.
Mm.
But in Thailand, I think there's a very like distinct culture. And a lot of people often think it's like Buddhist,
Yeah.
but it's Thai Buddhist, which is very different from like traditional Buddhism or Japanese Buddhism or any other Buddhisms
Okay.
out there. Like by default, I truly believe all Thai people are culturally Buddhist, but not necessarily religiously Buddhist.
Okay.
And I've been doing a lot of research about this because I'm hoping to write about it.
Are you?
Yeah, in an autofiction story about a delusional woman.
What?
And I love delusional women. Let me just
Yes.
put that out there. But so there's a lot of practices which people consider to be very Buddhist, which again I think are like Thai Buddhist.
Okay.
So one example is that Thai people go to the temple quite often, to the Wat, that's what they're called in Thailand, and kind of go as like social activities. You go and tambun, you like pray, you speak to some monks, etc.
Yeah.
And that's more of like a social activity as opposed to like, oh, I'm going and really praying
I
and
see.
being a Buddhist.
Yeah.
Like you're just going because it's part of the culture,
Yeah.
like part of like your every Sunday activity or like going with your family. And then I suppose also something very Thai in like Thai Buddhism is people often, when they really want something, they'll give something up which they love so much, like an exchange of like karma almost.
Really?
And so I've heard stories before of people like really wanting to have a child, and so they go and pray and say like, I'll give up eating beef for 2 months in order to have a child, and then, oh, you're pregnant. And then whatever you really believe in,
Exactly,
it will
yeah.
like happen.
Yeah.
But you have to give up something you really love. So what would you give up if you had to?
What would I give up? The gym.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
I
you
love
are
the gym.
healthy.
I
and
try to be.
fit.
I try. I try. So then you left Thailand, 18, went to the US. What was the first? Because was that your first time properly leaving home? I suppose.
Yeah, it was.
How was it?
I am somewhat of an emotional person, so I was like crying. I had to leave my mom and dad, and I cry
Yeah.
every single time I go to the airport. Like airport staff turn, knowing that it's the girl who cries. Once I was crying so hard that this random man in the line was like, "Oh, should we swap to where we're going?" And he like tried to swap my tickets because he thought I was going to somewhere really bad. But I was like, "No, I'm going to California.
I'll be fine.
So yeah, I'm very emotional, always crying. So I was really sad when I initially moved, but I'd always wanted to go to an American college because my cousins are American, and I'd seen like Gossip Girl and all these American movies and shows, and it kind of is like in the movies a little bit.
Yeah.
I went to a small school. It's called Claremont McKenna, and it has like 1,500 students. But there's no Greek life, so it wasn't like sororities and fraternities, which I'm kind of against. Sorry if you were in one, but I think they're a bit toxic.
I love it. And did you know anyone apart? So you had family there, but did you know anyone like where you actually were?
So I went to a college as part of a consortium. So it's like 5 colleges with around 1,000 students altogether. And then the boy I was dating at the time went to the college next door. So I was really happy with
Nice.
that. And,
Okay. So you got some time together and friendly face, like familiar face, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, amazing. What were some of your biggest learnings in the US? Because that's your first period of time away. Like you on your own kind of thing, adult life.
Oh, I know. I think one of my biggest learnings was actually like upon graduating, I had like a bit of a dip in happiness levels of life because I was in such a structured like academic environment, and I love school. I love doing homework. I was not partying. I was in the computer lab.
Really?
So excited to get to like the essays that I was writing. 7 a.m. I'd be like, "Oh, can't wait." And I'm a fun time too, but
Sure.
also love a bit of essay writing.
As we all do.
But my school was heavily corporate and kind of focused on, and I learned a lot of, I think, important businessy and like networking skills. Even though I studied English and psychology, my school was focused on economics and getting people into corporate life and making money so that you can be as happy as possible. But guess what? I don't think that's very true.
Doesn't exist.
And so like one of my biggest learnings was realizing that all that was maybe sold to me at school was not true. And for so long I thought, get the perfect job, and I did. I got the job I truly wanted.
Really?
And didn't make me happy, and instead like you got to have as much fun as possible.
Yeah. And so the move to London was because of the visa.
Yes.
Why London?
I have a UK passport, and my team at the company I work at Apple, they're based here. And so I guess it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool. And moving here, like, how's it been?
It's been a little bit difficult.
Has it?
Yeah, social wise, it has been a bit difficult to make friends in London. And not to sound like I have no friends, but
you're always doing something. Like,
yeah, I try to be really busy, and I'm really putting myself out there to get into spaces where I can potentially meet people, because I really do like love a chat and love meeting others.
Definitely.
But I think understanding that London operates in a different social scene was a learning lesson for me.
Really?
In that I have a decent amount of energy, and it seems that some people are skeptical of that energy because maybe they don't know what my intentions are. And at the end of the day, like, I really am out to make friends. Like, I'm nothing else.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm like a faker.
Yeah.
But I have found that in response to making friends in California and like America, Americans are initially quite open and very friendly up front. But perhaps not truthfully, perhaps truthfully, depends on the
Really?
person. While in the UK, it seems that people let their true selves come out after a while, and their true selves are really friendly and like
Yeah.
kind and warm, but it like takes a while to get there. um, and what I've heard is that once you make friends like in the UK and you like get there and you're in,
Yeah.
that people are really loyal to you.
I think so, yeah. Or they're honest, like, I think, generally. But yeah, it takes a little time. But then if you've got enough time behind you, then yeah, you can be friends for life.
Yeah,
Generally.
exactly.
Yeah, that's really good.
And so I'm trying.
Yeah, you are.
So I was actually really glad that we did the City Lit course together.
Yes.
Because it kind of put me in a space of people who are open anyway. So it's like self-selecting almost.
But wasn't it funny that first night that everyone walked in and it's a little bit shy, a little bit not standoffish, but, you know, a little bit kind of just there to listen to the teacher. And it's kind of, it took a while, didn't it, for us to kind of break down some of that, I think.
Yeah, but then everyone really did open up.
Really quickly.
Like, truly.
Yeah, after that first session, I think session 2 onwards, we got there. So,
yeah,
it was
and just
quite nice.
shout out to City Lit. Like, I'm obsessed with their courses. I spend hours scrolling through.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people in England have heard about it.
I know. There are so many.
Yeah.
I did Spanish there for a number of years.
Yeah, not an ad for City Lit, but
No.
you know, everyone get to City
Yeah.
Lit.
Cheap and good and knowledgeable teachers. I think that's the key bit. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
and I did a number of community college courses, as I call them, when I was in LA as well.
Really?
So I did Japanese calligraphy,
Wow.
which was really fun, and like it was like half dancing because you had to feel the calligraphy, so we were like dancing around. But the teacher was a bit strict and did slap me in the face.
What?
I know. I did
Insane.
vocal yoga. That was another class.
Okay.
Which was also kind of weird.
Yeah.
The teacher was a bit intense, but that was fun. And I did comic book drawing as well.
Love it.
Because I do love drawing comics.
Yeah. Amazing. So what I learned about you on the course is that you're very imaginative and creative.
Thank you.
And we had this task, didn't we, to write a story or to write an intro to a story. And you just magically appeared with this whole story.
I'll share it.
Yes, do.
'Cause I'm going to turn it into a real project.
I can't wait for this.
So we had to do like an intro to like our podcast. And obviously, I think we all took inspiration from you, ChatterBeans,
Oh,
because we all listened and love it.
thanks.
But yeah, the podcast I pitched is called Mouse Hour, where my nickname is Mimi Mouse. So I interview mice. And I've created all these mice characters to interview. So it's not any famous mice like Mickey Mouse or, Pikachu is a famous mouse. Not any of them.
Is Pikachu a mouse?
Yeah, Pikachu is a mouse.
Huh?
Yeah. Google it.
Oh my God, there's news to me.
Fun fact.
Yes.
But instead I've created my own mouse characters and I won't reveal any, but it's going to be turned into a big project and there's going to be a launch party. And you're, of course, invited. And
wait.
anyone can come if you're in London. You know, open invite. I am looking for friends. But I love creative writing. And so I wanted to really integrate that in my intro when I was talking about it. So there's just some like fun, squeaky mouse lines in the podcast, which I have put in.
I can't wait to hear it.
Thank you.
And just to set the scene, you basically had to go into this podcast booth, like sound booth, and then it got played out to the class. And we were just like in shock that you'd come up with this in like such a short space of time. But I guess it just speaks to who you are and kind of some of the, work that you do. And you just talked about you loved reading, you read a lot of books, and is that something you want to take forward in the future? Definitely.
Yeah. I love writing. I mentioned that I wanted to be a writer. And so I'm really excited, and kind of towards the end of the year, I'm going to be doing I got accepted into some school to do a writing program.
That's so exciting.
I'm excited about that. And right now I focus mainly on writing poetry.
Okay.
But I am thinking of making the shift into prose because my sister said I wasn't that good of a poet. You know how sisters can be.
I know. How rude.
Well, it was said in like a semi-supportive way, but I kind of agreed with her. No, actually, I'm going to support myself. I do love my poems.
Okay.
But I know that sometimes audiences have found it a little difficult to connect with them because I want my poems to be read, not listened to.
Fine.
And maybe that goes against like what poetry is supposed to be, because traditionally it was like orally passed down,
Yeah.
like across generations, and you listen and you gather. But I truly believe poetry is meant to be read.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's controversial. I don't know if there are any literary people listening. But so I like my poems, which if anyone's interested, I have a poetry account.
Do you?
It's called Do Re Mi Mi.
That's
Do
amazing.
Re Mi Fa Sol.
We'll tag it in the description
Okay,
for
thanks.
sure.
It's Ray spelled incorrectly, like not R-E, which is the music way of spelling
Yeah.
it, but R-A-Y.
Okay.
Because I wanted to say that it wasn't a music account.
Yes.
So it's misspelled. And also
Love it.
the other one was taken, so.
Damn.
But my favorite poem that I've written recently-ish is a poem about, Lewis Carroll, who wrote Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
Everyone thinks that he came up with the line, like, to smile like a Cheshire cat.
Okay.
But no, he stole it from the town of Cheshire.
Are you joking?
Yeah, and the true origins lie in different parts of the town of Cheshire, and I've written about that in the poem. It's called The Case of the Stolen Grin.
Love it.
And so my poems are a
Amazing.
little more like intricate and filled with lots of detail and knowledge.
How do you begin to get all of that information to create that poem?
Like,
how did you do the research, or did you just come across it and then thought, right, I'm going into investigation mode?
I go in a lot of like Wikipedia rabbit holes. I'm like down fully.
Yeah.
And then like from those going to other links and just piecing all my research together.
And you clearly get so much joy from it, right?
Yeah,
I can see your
really
energy
do.
talking about
thanks.
it. And so your studies that you're going to do at the end of the year, where do you want that to take you? Like, what's the aim there and the goal?
I'd really like to write a book or a few.
Okay.
Or I guess we'll see. Like, I'm open to the course, like really taking me to where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
And the course is cool because we do poetry, we do fiction, creative nonfiction, and also writing for performance.
Wow.
So whether that's TV or like podcasting or whatever it might be.
Okay.
And so I'm excited to work on like simmerings of small projects and see what really arises.
Yeah.
But I had a really fun idea the other day for a book. Oh wait, maybe I shouldn't share it in case someone steals
someone might
it.
steal it.
Yeah.
Hold
Not
it.
saying that. I'll tell you later.
There are a lot of people out there. Amazing. And so is this something that you've had from like a young age, like this imagination, this kind of being into like creating things?
I think so.
Do you think it's always stuck with you?
Yeah, I definitely think my mom would say that.
Really?
Because I used to like write stories. I used to write a lot in my diary. I was rereading it the other day and it's just filled with gossip. Like truly.
Really?
There's this really funny diary entry which my mom always likes to talk about, where it was like 2011 maybe, and I'm writing and it's Christmas and I'm writing all this stuff and I say like, I got into a massive argument with my family. My mom said she didn't want any more of my handmade crap for Christmas. I cried and then I just had face. And it's really funny, I like documented it, but
Yeah.
because every Christmas my siblings we would give my mom
Handmade crap.
Handmade crap. It was 2 pieces of paper stapled together, stuffed with cotton wool, and it was a pillow.
Oh.
But we did it for so many years, and she was just sick of receiving this little pillow.
I mean, fair point, maybe.
What did you give your parents Christmas gifts growing up?
Nothing like that.
Not lucky enough to get something like
I wasn't lucky enough. Exactly. Hey, it's only me just interrupting the episode. If you're loving this conversation with Mimi, then why not hit subscribe, share it with your friends on social media, and go and give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at chatter.beans. Oh, and did you know you can watch the whole episode on YouTube? Just search ChatterBeans podcast. Do you read a lot?
Yeah, I definitely do. I feel like I went through maybe a dry spell for a while, as everyone does.
Yeah.
But reading is
Physical
my
or
passion. Physical books.
always?
I had a Kindle, I gave it to my sister. I'm not against Kindles, but
Some
I
people
just love a book.
Yeah. What have you been reading recently?
Recently, I've been reading lots of different things, but my main focus, I set this as my New Year's resolution, was to read a lot of women authors, but also to read more about feminism and like women's health in general.
Okay.
And so
What is it about though? What is it about women's health and
well,
feminism?
yeah, well, women's health is incredibly understudied. There's this book called Invisible Women,
Yeah.
and it documents living in this world like as a woman and having not had the world like been created for you, and it gives a lot of data points for this. So for instance, women experience heart attacks really differently to men,
In what way?
and they have completely different symptoms.
Really?
Oftentimes women won't know that they're actually having a heart attack, because what you see are the traditional symptoms of like a man like clutching his heart and going, oh, I'm having a heart attack.
Oh my God, I'm just thinking, like, on TV
Yeah.
and in real life, I only have known men to either die or have heart attacks.
But it like shows up completely differently in
That's
women.
crazy.
And often it's just like a little bit of pain. And because women are quite used to traditionally like covering up their pain a little more because they don't want to speak out and cause a
Yeah.
fuss, a lot of times like people won't know that they are like literally having a heart attack. Or these
Wow.
women rather. And then like seatbelts were tested on like male bodies, and women's bodies are different. And
Anatomy is
so
different, right?
yeah, and so in accidents, seatbelts like actually maybe they fixed this. I don't know, like whoever they are in the world. But this world was not designed for women. In like the medical field, there's an incredible book called All in Her Head: The Truth and Lies Early Medicine Have Taught Women About Their Bodies and Why It Still Matters Today, by Dr. Elizabeth Coleman. Not an ad, she's just amazing. I DM'd her on Instagram to tell her I loved it, and she replied.
Did she?
Yeah, I love a DM. And that book, it was a bit depressing to read actually, but it was separated into a couple different chapters, all about different like bodily systems like lungs, blood,
Yeah.
skin, etc. And it talks about how, I guess, doctors from way back when have inserted like white male gaze on what like beauty should be from like a plastic surgery standpoint,
Yeah.
but also how women's bodies like should be. Like a fun fact, or this isn't so fun actually, was hysteria, which is what women used to be diagnosed with when they had any issue that a doctor couldn't fix, or even if they were just like emotional
Yeah.
at some
Hysteria,
point, which
right?
everyone is,
Yeah.
or maybe they had anxiety or depression, something
Yeah.
that maybe couldn't be explained so easily. And a way in which one doctor thought that they could cure it was to punch a woman in the uterus.
Yeah, I think I knew this.
And that just completely normalizes violence against women, starting as well like in the medical field, and seeing how that. So it's crazy. The book is really wonderfully written, and it's a book I did not skim. And not that I'm always skimming books, but sometimes you gotta have a little skim.
Of course.
But I didn't skim this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of women's health, and I've never read Bell Hooks before. Have you?
No, I haven't.
And I read Bell Hooks.
Yeah.
And she is incredible. Bell Hooks is amazing.
Yeah.
And she has a series about love, and it's a 3-book series. I
Yeah.
think the second book is the best.
Okay.
I would actually start with the second. It's called Communion, The Female Search for Love, but it's not just about like females or women, or anyone can read it and like be included. And she talks so clearly and reasonably. I don't necessarily want to use the word reasonably, but oftentimes people think feminism is such a crazy topic. But she really documents very clearly how the world is set up in such a patriarchal way. And some individual people are to blame, obviously, but
Yeah.
blaming like individual men for our problems of patriarchy is not the answer. Patriarchy is the problem. How we raise people is the solution.
Yes.
And I've read a lot of feminist articles and books which have left me feeling really hopeless.
Really?
Where I've been like, oh well, there's no solution. Like obviously this isn't the case with everyone, but what I've been experiencing a lot is, the imbalance between many different genders, but like I'm just going to focus specifically on just men and women. And in a patriarchal world, women automatically have, or like are in a lower sense of power, and there's no sense of balance.
Do you feel it at different times? Specific times? So in the workplace or
I definitely feel it, and I think all women, knowingly and unknowingly, are just like affected by it.
Yeah.
But
Subconsciously, right?
subconsciously,
But
definitely, just in social
yeah.
interactions.
Are there times where it's highlighted?
I think there are definitely times where it's highlighted, just in like thinking about relationships, just talking to my friends when they're dating and feeling like there are no good men in this world.
Yeah.
However, I think what Bell Hooks does a really amazing job of is helping people hopefully like reframe that
Okay.
and like have hope.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, she explains it so much better than I ever could.
No, you're very articulate.
Oh no, thanks.
Are you
But
feeling more hopeful?
I'm feeling hopeful. I don't want to have this like scarcity mindset that all men suck, because it causes like, you know, whatever you think and what you believe, you do project out into the world.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to change this, even though I'm a bit
And
of
I
a
think what you
negative
say,
person.
if you carry on saying it, you then start to believe it, right? It's this
Yeah,
vicious cycle almost.
exactly.
Yeah.
But Bell Hooks is just really amazing, and reading her books, I think, is helping me understand what like feminism means. And we both saw Adolescence,
Yeah.
the Netflix show, and thought it was I watched it because you were hyping it up so much, and also I
Really?
saw the ads.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that the show did an amazing job of showing how integrated and kind of like commonplace and everyday patriarchal and misogynistic thinking is, in a way that wasn't using like long words, which
Yes.
a lot of people don't understand or maybe feel separated from.
Yeah.
Like it showed how a young boy can be influenced by misogyny, not because he's born a bad person,
No.
but because of all the social factors that get him there.
Exactly.
And the way that Bell Hooks talks about like raising boys versus girls, she just uses two
really?
genders in the book, is really insightful, and talks about how it's important to help everyone to be like emotionally vulnerable, because yeah,
Yeah.
one gender or one person isn't necessarily more able to be caring and loving than another. Like everyone can be, but the way people are raised to think that women are the only caring ones, that's what is damaging.
Yeah.
But never to blame women. I would never blame a woman.
And almost like boys,
it's the patriarchy.
Boys shouldn't cry. Boys shouldn't
Yeah.
show emotion. You know, they should be the strong ones.
But that's super damaging because it doesn't allow them to be emotionally vulnerable. And when they get into relationships where anyone needs that, whether you're with like whoever you're with,
Yeah.
people need to be able to be emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah.
And accepting of other people's emotional vulnerabilities as well.
So she talks about how to raise male and female children.
Yeah, and should be done kind of in the same way.
I might have to have a read.
Yeah, it's good.
Because we often talk about, you know, we ideally want a girl.
Yes.
But we do talk that unfortunately life is harder, I think, in a lot of ways for girls. And it shouldn't be. And that sometimes boys have it easier. Although I'm starting to change my view on whether boys have it easier from adolescence, because actually they may seemingly have it easier as children, as boys, but growing up there, I think because they haven't been raised in the right way, they'll actually find it harder long term in other ways. So need to do a little bit of thinking.
Yeah.
Not that I get a choice of what I get.
Good luck. Thanks. Yeah. But anyway, so big feminist. Though of course I want to acknowledge that the most important feminist issue, not that we have to rank them at all, but is quality of education for girls in developing countries. So just want to put that out there. I think that's very important and should be a feminist issue we should focus on.
Yeah. Have you done anything around that area?
I do a lot of volunteering.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy volunteering.
Yeah.
I do it a lot at work because I'm part of a volunteering program where I can organize volunteering events, and then my company kind of like time matches our volunteering hours with money for the charity, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
And so I started in Thailand working around doing advocacy for equality of education. But I would like to restart and do that here. Because
Yeah.
I've mainly been working with a local charity, Enable, and they work with different community estates to kind of
Okay.
host events for people who live on the estate. And that's what I've mainly been doing for my volunteering work.
That's amazing.
Oh,
You've got
thanks.
so many fingers in different pies, like doing lots of things.
I do love to do lots of different things. I don't know if
Yeah.
like when I should stop or focus, but I just
No, don't use
I
the
just
word when
love a
should I
lot of
stop.
I just love a lot of different things.
Good for you. I think that's what life is about. Like, it's not about just the job, is it? And then, you know, a social life. Like, it's good to do lots of things, and hopefully you're meeting lots of different people
Yeah,
with similar interests.
I'm
you know?
definitely not to go back to the fact that I am trying to make friends, but I'm trying to do lots of different things so I can like be exposed to different people. Like I'm volunteering for the Battersea Jazz Festival.
Are
So
you?
I'm a leafleter,
Amazing.
and so I'm gonna be handing out leaflets.
When is the Battersea Jazz Festival?
It's in end of June and July.
In Battersea Park?
I think it is.
Yeah, it must be.
I guess as a volunteer, I should know the info now, but I haven't been debriefed, so yeah.
Amazing. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you like jazz?
I do actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about jazz.
I don't know an awful lot. I just love to listen to it, and
Okay.
I love classical music as well.
Oh, maybe you can leaflet with me. I love classical too.
Do you?
Yes. I just started playing the piano. And so I used to play the harp growing up.
Wow. Okay.
But I wanted to learn how to play the piano so I could go to a party and play a Taylor Swift song and have everyone be impressed.
That would be impressive.
Thank you.
Are you a Taylor Swift fan by any chance?
Oh, just a little fan. You know, I can critique her. I'm not one of those fans. And again, no shade to those fans because
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
But not one of those fans who can't see when maybe she is doing some things that shouldn't be done. But also no judgment. She's just a woman living her life and making music.
Amazing. Amazing.
But I love Taylor Swift because, and I think you can say this about any artist, but I love her songwriting.
Yeah.
I usually sit with her songs and I'll look at them and read the lyrics as
Do
they
you?
go through. That's how I memorize a lot of songs. But I truly believe that for any single emotional state that you're going through, there's a Taylor Swift song for it
I agree.
that will describe how you're feeling.
Totally.
And it fits the emotional era you're in. Every single album has certain qualities,
Yeah.
and you can figure out like where you are in life and then use her songs as a guiding point.
Beautiful.
So
I love
I
that.
hope I'm in 1989, which is like a fun era
Yeah.
where you're like down to have fun, you're free, you're chill, you think about or maybe the things you've lost and you accept that, and if they are meant to return, they will. Like, and then you're also just having fun and living
Love
life
it.
and seizing the day and
Yeah.
going out on a Wednesday and then getting up for a meeting the next day and like whatever, just have fun.
This is what you should be doing. Totally. Enjoy it. Keep it going as long as you can. Trust me.
Thanks.
Switching it to coffee slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like coffee?
I do not
You
like
don't like coffee?
I don't like coffee or tea, which I don't. Maybe it doesn't make me a true Brit or a true Thai because Thai people love.
I was going to say about, yeah. So you just never liked hot drinks or like those?
Yeah, I actually don't like hot drinks, so maybe it's that.
How interesting.
I love orange juice, mango juice, water,
Yeah.
and sometimes a bit of boba,
Yeah. Okay.
which I guess kind of is a tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but if there's lots of sugar in it, I'll drink it. Which is interesting though, because I'm not a very sugary person. Thai people love sugar. Like that is a true known fact. Like
Yeah.
all Thai people. And so it's kind of surprising that I don't, being Thai. But I tend not to fit a lot of different
Yeah. Exactly. You're your own.
stereotypes of anyone.
You're on your own, like individual. Yeah. I
Yeah,
love it.
so I'll have water as my coffee order.
Perfect. So there's the end of that question. Okay, well, if you could have a drink of some sort with someone, have you got anyone in mind that you'd like to take out for a drink and just
Oh, can they be alive or dead?
dead or alive?
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking, and I think I will pick my favorite poet. It's Wisława Szymborska. She's a Polish poet. She won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2001. But
Wow.
not that many people have heard about her. I mean,
No.
actually, a lot of people in Poland have, so
I imagine,
I
yeah.
want to call you guys out in Poland. but I think she's amazing. My favorite poem of hers is called The Joy of Writing.
Okay.
And they've all been written in Polish and translated into
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
But The Joy of Writing, the final stanza is the power of, or the final line, like the joy of writing, the power of preserving, revenge of a mortal hand. And I think it is so lovely and talks about like, or I guess speaks to what writing and the joy of writing, not to say the title again, really is for her.
Yeah.
It's that, yes, maybe she'll die and she has passed away, but her writing will live on. And a lot of people's writing live a
Yeah.
lot of people's writing live on like way after they've died, or maybe they've stopped writing, but at the end of the day this can like be your imprint on the world with
Yeah.
whatever you're putting down. And so I always like want to encourage people to like be creative, because maybe one person will listen to it, maybe, or read it or engage with it, maybe 100 will,
Yeah.
but even if it's that one person, you are making an impact.
I completely.
And not in a negative way to use the word revenge of a mortal hand,
No.
but you know, it's life. We're all going to die. Like, optimistically nihilistic, like that's what's going to happen. I mean, depending on what you believe in, don't want to
Yeah.
decide for you. But to counter that, a little
Yeah.
bit of revenge is putting out creativity.
So is this where you want to do some writing of your own?
I guess.
And it will live on.
Yeah, I guess I came to that realization just now in
Yes.
this moment. But, you know,
How
as
amazing.
your podcast will live on with what
Yeah.
you're doing, which is so incredible.
I think I resonate with you, like whether it's one person listening to this episode or 100 or however many, like I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly. And you have to really want to do it.
Yeah, I think you have to really want to, and then just go with it. What would you talk to her about?
I would talk about how she's able to write so concisely and like with such simplicity. I feel I tend to talk quite a lot, but I tend to like go on and add like so many descriptions, and my writing is like filled with. I've been given the feedback before where it's like, this is so fun, but it's like so much detail in one sentence.
Really?
And so about like how to like pass it out. And I always want to share like the end of a story first. Or like and I want to, you know, I want to be one of those people that enjoys the journey, but like I like the destination. You know? And so I'm always like so excited to like get to the end. However, I would want to ask her like, how can I draw it out?
Yeah.
And like wait for the end.
Is there something you've had to unlearn in life?
My gosh, probably so many things.
Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think I grew up, and maybe this is why my family was nicknaming me Mimi No Chill Thompson, like really holding on to a lot of things.
Really?
Like, oh, I kind of remember everything. Like anyone who's ever wronged me. No, just kidding. But I think something like my mom has really tried to teach all of us is you just gotta let things go, and you can't like hold on to these things so much. And that is also very Thai. Like even though she's British, she's adopted that Thai value point
Yeah.
or principle quite well. Where a lot of Thai people just say like, oh,
Yeah.
open lie, like it doesn't matter.
Really?
You can just let it go, and don't hold on to these things. And that's another kind of cultural point. I found the difference when I moved from Thailand to America, where, again, not everyone, I don't want to offend any Americans, because like I genuinely do love LA and California where I lived. I have so many American friends who I love dearly.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to talk in stereotypes here. But I found that when I moved to America, I got even more frustrated and let things go even less so than I did growing up in Thailand. So like already was I a bit, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not letting anything go. And then when I got to America, I really felt that frustration like increase. For instance, this is a small example, but driving in LA is a little hectic, and getting caught up in traffic would make everyone really, really frustrated and stressed. And then you then get that frustration and give it to someone else. And the energy that you give off, or the energy that you like have, you give off, you give to other people, and it's a continuous effect of like
Yeah.
frustration and being affected by frustration.
Yeah.
But in Thailand, whenever we're stuck in traffic growing up, my mom was always just kind of like, whatever, open lie, it's fine, like we'll get there eventually, like it's okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that I have hopefully unlearned that. And every time I find myself getting frustrated, I genuinely do stop. And sometimes people think affirmations don't work, but they actually do. Bell Hooks says so. And I just think in my head, like, I'm not going to be affected by this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be Thai and I'm going to let it go. And my bin lai, it doesn't matter.
I love that.
And for some things, obviously, they do matter, but for most things, they don't.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to do so this year because it's the year of the snake.
Okay.
I don't know if what's your Chinese zodiac animal? Do you know?
Oh, I should really know this as my husband is Chinese. I'm 91.
Oh no, I don't know what it is. We'll have to Google it.
Is it a goat?
I don't know. I don't know them off by heart. However, if you want to take a look, I am a tiger.
Oh yeah.
So my name is Mimi Thompson, and so my nickname is Mouse, and as a tiger, T. So I've started at work putting in my email signature an emoji of a mouse and a tiger to like represent both.
I love that. That's cool.
Do you
I'm a
know
goat.
A goat.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What's a goat?
I don't know the goat because, not to sound selfish, but I only looked at details of the tiger.
Sheep people are considered gentle, creative, and compassionate.
Oh, you are.
I like to think so.
But in the year of the snake, again, some people have different interpretations.
You're 98?
Yeah.
Same as Oscar.
Oh, love. I'll have to hang out. Not that I can't hang out with people of different ages. Not to be ageist or anything. But in the year of the snake, it's really important, apparently, to be, because snakes are slow-moving, strategic, patient, and calm. You have to think about something that you wish to shed, like how a snake sheds its skin. And you have to act not rashly. And tigers tend to act rashly and like, oh, let me just make a decision quick. And that does tend to reflect what I do because I kind of love change. And so I'm always just like, let me just do it.
That's amazing.
But you got to take some time to think.
Yeah.
And the year of the dragon was apparently about kind of all these observations arising. And then the year of the snake is putting them into action, but doing so with calmness, strategy, and patience. So take that as you will. If you want to follow it. If you don't live your life.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
What an interesting chat we've had. Like,
yes.
I've really loved it. Yeah, I've really loved our chat. Like
Me too.
You've taught me a lot actually. And you speak so well. So
thank you. Oh, thanks.
Is there like a life lesson or a bit of advice that you wish to share with others?
I wish to share with others.
I think you've touched on a little bit with the unlearning.
Maybe just the idea of having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I've spoken a bit about this with my friends before, and like having fun or having like the most like optimal fun wasn't always necessarily something like at the top of mind as like a goal to achieve. Yeah. Like, I think the Western world talk about this a lot where it's like, oh, we're trying to like achieve happiness. And I don't think that that's necessarily possible. I think you can achieve fun and then happiness will kind of come like every day. And some days you're not going to feel necessarily happy. Like it's a state of mind that you're in. And traditional Buddhism really promotes kind of having like a blank slate of a mind where you're not necessarily feeling any emotions, you just like are. And so if you want to follow that mindset, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, because I'm culturally Buddhist, but not religiously. But I think instead of having this like massive goal to be happy, another more not actionable, but rather achievable, realistic, I think positive and compassionate goal to have is like have fun, do things that you really enjoy, and do things which will like make you feel excited, and just like yeah. what do you do to have fun?
Exactly.
And the happiness will like come and
it
maybe
will follow,
it'll go,
right? Yeah.
But at least in the process you'll be having fun. Like if you want to go, maybe you can be sad, but you can go on a roller coaster because that'll make you fun. That'll make you feel like you're having fun.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks. Thank you. It's time for the quick fire round.
Oh my gosh.
Nearly at the end. First thing you do in the morning?
I check my phone.
Do you?
I know, it's so bad.
Why not? I was going to say, be honest, coffee or tea, but neither.
Neither. We'll stick with tea if we had to pick one.
No, I don't want you to just lie.
No, but like for boba.
Oh, true. Fine. A guilty pleasure you'll never give up.
Oh,
Maybe you don't have any.
Well, I know, because I don't really consider them like guilty.
Yeah, you just embrace
I'm
everything.
kind of down to commit to doing anything and just like being excited about it.
Perfect. Favorite place you visited and why?
My favorite place I visited, Cambodia.
Why?
I went to run a 5K with my family once.
As you do.
In Cambodia, it was for a charity 5K, and going to visit Angkor Wat and Angkor Thom were incredible experiences.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they should probably have better security, because they did allow us to like just climb up the temples. So I don't think that's the best for keeping things culturally restorative. However, I was very respectful, just saying. However, the temples there were truly, truly amazing. Museums are great, but I think temples are the place like to visit when you go to any country, and they have some of the best temples in the world.
Amazing. Favorite way to spend your day off?
Oh, so many things.
So many. I was going to say the answer has to be lots of things.
Lots of different things. Like dream answer, I'd probably say going to like an amusement park. But now I would just say it's like being able to read books I love, and I can't say go shopping because I'm a shopaholic.
Are you?
No, I'm trying to stop. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm not really allowed to shop right now.
Is that a self-imposed ban?
Yeah. Maybe that's my guilty pleasure.
There you
shopping.
are. Yes.
But I watched Confessions of a Shopaholic and it didn't help me. I actually felt the shopping more.
How often do you shop?
Like every day.
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you work in Battersea, right?
I know. And
That's
for those
not
who
good.
don't know, the Battersea Power Station is like a converted shopping mall, and my office is there. But sometimes I walk past the shops and I go, "You do not want to shop," which is from the movie.
If you could time travel, would you go forwards or backwards?
I would go.
Or stay right here?
I think I'd go forward
To when?
to when we're living in space,
Living
just
in
to see what it's like.
Why not? See what the world looks like.
Yeah, hopefully it's not terrible.
Yeah, I hope not. What's the weirdest thing you've Googled recently?
Oh my gosh. The weirdest thing I've Googled recently is... Oh, I don't know. Can I look at my Google? Let's have like a quick little look to see.
I say Google, but there are other search engines, right? I mean, I should ask these days, like, what have you ChatGPT'd recently?
I Googled Marshmallow Laser Feast, which is like an art collective. I thought the name was interesting. I saw they like put together this exhibit. They put together something for the soil exhibit at Somerset House, which actually is closed by the time this podcast will be out, so you can't go visit it. But
was it good?
yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I've been to better museums, but don't want to, great people did some great art there.
Yeah,
Anyway,
amazing. Good. Finally, a small amount of joy you've experienced recently.
A small amount of joy I've experienced recently is I hung out with my sister yesterday.
Yeah.
And shout out Melina if you're listening.
I hope so. I hope she's still here right at the end.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know.
What did you do?
We went to like a gallery together and then had dinner.
Nice. Sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to
gosh.
ChatterBeans.
Thank you.
That's been, honestly, you've enlightened me. Like, I've genuinely loved our conversation. And there's so much more to you than what I learned in 6 weeks on a podcast course. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're an amazing interviewer, and I really do love ChatterBeans.
Thank you.
I shared this in the course, but I used to be against podcasts, and now I'm interested in a few of them, especially this one.
Very good. Very good. Where can people connect with you and find out where your writing goes, or the Mouse Hour?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can follow my writing Instagram. I do like writing and performance on there.
Amazing.
It's Dore Mimi, and I guess Isaac can include it in the
I'll tag you in it for
bio.
sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you soon. Thanks. Thank you so much for tuning in to ChatterBeans. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. If you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And for more behind-the-scenes moments, guest updates, and a peek into the world of ChatterBeans, follow us on Instagram at chatter.beans. Until next time, grab a coffee, sit back, and let's keep chatting.